You are listening to the story on channel. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Reincarnated with the strongest system. Chapter 1. I'm going ahead first. Don't miss me too much. To the destined person who is lucky enough to find my letter. 752,648,000 heartbeats. That is the number of times my heart pulsed inside my body before I gave it away. I, who had lived a painful, yet happy, life had many regrets, and among those regrets was to die, a virgin. Ahem. Don't look at me with those eyes filled with ridicule and contempt, for I am sure that you, yes you, the one reading this right now, is the same. Both of us are virgins. What? You're not a virgin? In that case, then F*CKU. How do you read this? Don't you know the feelings of us pitiful, good looking, and drop-dead gorgeous boys, like me, who have never even had the chance to date a girl? Do you not know our pain? Our suffering? Our endless days stuck inside the bathroom doing one-hand calisthenics? TSK, you uncultured swine. What happened to the saying, brothers before hoes? Shame on you, bro, shame on you, you scum who don't understand the importance of brotherhood. I hope your PP won't ever raise its head ever again. Let's see if you stay popular then. Where was I? Oh yeah, I died as a virgin. However, before I died, I got my first and last kiss from a beautiful lady who was known as the #1 beauty in the whole academy. Matilda, her lips were so soft that I felt like I was in cloud 9. If only the boys in the school could see that moment, I bet that they would have bitten their handkerchiefs in envy. I'm sure that all of her admirers would have joined hands in order to kill me. Joke's on them, because by the time someone has found this letter, I will have long been dead. Ha ha ha. I leave this world with many regrets, but there was one thing I don't regret, and that was giving my heart to her. Even though she had only been my girlfriend for a few hours, those hours were the happiest hours of my life. I pray that she will live her life to the fullest. Not only for herself, but also for my sake. To you, who is currently reading this letter, I wish you a blessed day. I don't know who you are, where you're from, or what you're going through. However, let me just tell you one thing. Live your life to the fullest, and live without regrets. For there are many like me who won't be able to see tomorrow's sunrise. Once we close our eyes tonight. I never cared about the world before, but when I saw the last sunset of my life, I realized that I had missed many beautiful opportunities. Don't be like me. Don't waste your life. Treasure every moment, as if it was your last. And before I end this letter, allow me to give you my final advice. Always bring tissues with you wherever you go. William. The boy who died so that others may live. P.S. In the small chance that you are the one who found this letter, please, ignore the first and second half of what you have read. I was just joking. Don't take my words seriously. If fate wills it, then our paths will definitely cross again. I wish that, the next time we meet, we will be able to finish our unfinished business. I promise that when that time comes, I will never let you go. Well then, I'm going ahead first. Don't miss me too much, okay? Also, you're not allowed to follow me right away. Because if you do, I will be really sad. Take care of my little brothers and sisters in the orphanage for me. See you later, Belle. A single tear fell, followed by another. Soon, the handwritten letter was drenched in tears. Belle's vision blurred as the tears in her eyes fell like rain. William, I'm sorry. Belle held the letter close to her chest. I'm sorry. As the sun disappeared from the horizon, and the first stars appeared in the sky, only the strong beating of William's heart within her chest accompanied her until she no longer had tears to shed. Reincarnated with the strongest system. Chapter 2, Temple of 10,000 Gods. When William opened his eyes, he found himself lying on top of a small golden cloud that was flying in the sky. At first, he thought that he was still dreaming, but the memories of how Belle collapsed in front of him came flooding in. Along with the flood of memories, a realization dawned upon him. That's right. I'm already dead, William muttered. He unconsciously placed his hand over his chest to feel his heartbeat, but he felt and heard nothing. After heaving a sigh, the boy sat cross-legged on top of the cloud as if it was the most natural thing to do in the world. After doing so, memories of his life flashed before his eyes. William saw happy memories, sad memories, and memories that he didn't want to see ever again. At the end of his reminiscing, the image of a beautiful girl, with long black hair, made him bite his lip in frustration. Truth be told, he was very worried about her. Did the operation succeed? Did the doctors make it in time? Will the hospital director keep his promise? Many questions popped inside his head. However, he knew that there was nothing more that he could do to affect the outcome of the events that had transpired. The reason? He was already dead. There was no use worrying about things that were beyond his control. I hope you're safe, Belle, William said as he raised his head. A golden portal was shining in front of him and he knew that his journey had come to an end. He had never believed in God before, for God never did anything for him when he was alive. He also didn't believe in heaven and hell. The only thing he believed in was reincarnation. Perhaps he was influenced by the countless novels that he had read while staying at the hospital. His only hobby was to read stories about cultivation, kingdom building, slice of life, transmigration, historical romance, and many other themes. If there really is a God, then he'd better prepare himself to get hit by my fist. William narrowed his eyes as he gazed at the golden portal that was getting larger every second. If I find out that he also took Belle, I will beat him up until even his mama doesn't recognize him anymore. Those were the last words William said before the cloud entered the golden portal. What he saw on the other side of the portal blew him away. It reminded him of the time his class went to the planetarium for their science field trip. Just what in the world? William asked absent-mindedly as he stared at the vastness of space. Countless stars, planets, and galaxies could be seen in the distance. Before the teenage boy could even process everything that he was seeing, the cloud sped up and headed towards a giant planet that looked very similar to Earth. Surprisingly, several other golden clouds appeared beside William as the cloud made its way towards the planet. A procession of golden clouds numbering in the millions formed in less than a minute. Each of them was also carrying a person, each varying in age. Some were old, some were young, and some were incredibly young. Children not older than 3 years old looked back at William with a curious gaze, while sucking on their thumbs. William felt an ache in his chest as he looked at the young children with a sad expression. They reminded him of his little brothers and sisters back at the orphanage. As they drew nearer the planet, a surprising change happened to the procession of golden clouds. The clouds carrying the old people broke free from the formation and headed towards the eastern side of the planet. The clouds carrying the children who were below the age of 5 flew towards the south. It didn't take long for William to realize that they were being segregated by some unknown power who seemed to be manipulating the order of the clouds. The cloud that William was riding on didn't change direction and continued to go straight towards the center of the planet. A few other people were in the same group as him, but they numbered less than 100. As the clouds they were riding on descended from the sky, a magnificent temple appeared before their eyes. An old man, with long white hair and beard, stood in front of the entrance and looked at them with a smile on his face. "Greetings to each and every one of you," the old man said with a kind and soothing voice. "I know that all of you have a lot of questions. Although I don't have the answers to all of them, I will be more than happy to answer those that I know. Is there any of you who would like to ask a question?" Me, a skinny young man who seemed to be in his early 20s, raised his hand. "Go on," the old man replied. "Are you God?" the skinny man asked. "No," the old man answered. "I am just one of their many helpers." "Their helpers? You mean there is more than one God?" a pretty lady asked. "Oh yes," the old man smiled. "Some of them are old and some are new. By the way, the name of this temple is the Temple of 10,000 Gods. Although I say 10,000 gods, the exact number of gods that reside within is unknown." The old man paused before continuing his explanation. "It has been eons since this temple was named, and many gods have been born during the passing of time. Of course, it is also true that many gods had perished as well." William and the others fell silent as they digested the old man's words. Even so, being as young as they were, their curiosity got the better of them. Why so many? A handsome boy with blonde hair and blue eyes asked. Isn't there only one true God? Good question. The old man nodded his head in appreciation. You came from Earth, correct? Yes, the handsome boy replied. Let's say that on Earth, there is one true God, the old man smiled. Then, what about other worlds? If each world had one true God, then wouldn't that mean that there are countless true gods in the various worlds within this universe? The handsome boy widened his eyes in realization. He understood what the old man was talking about and no longer asked any questions. The old man made a gesture towards the temple of 10,000 gods and continued his explanation. You see, a god is born out of people's beliefs. With this logic, it also means that a new god is born every now and then. The stronger the belief, the stronger the god will be. After the passing of time, many gods were born and many gods were lost. The moment a god is forgotten, is the moment these gods will cease to exist. In short, instead of going directly into the cycle of reincarnation, all of you will be given a chance to choose a patron god before you journey towards your next life, the old man added. Wait. I know this. The nerdy boy adjusted his glasses as he prepared to voice out his guess. If we go according to what I have read in light novels, these gods will give us cheap powers, powerful artifacts, divine weapons, and other blessings that will give us an edge on our next life, correct? Something like that, the old man replied as he played with his long beard. Each god has their own specialty and most of them give their followers the same items or ability. I knew it. The nerdy boy pumped up his fist with excitement. His eyes were sparkling as he looked at the gate behind the old man with anticipation. Since we don't have much time left, I will just cut to the chase, the old man announced. All of you are here because the gods looked upon all of you favorably. Perhaps you did something in your life that deserved their recognition. The old man paused for a brief moment to allow the meaning of his words sink in. Well, if there are no more questions, let's go in. The old man waved his hand and the gate of the temple opened. Let me welcome you once again to the temple of 10,000 gods, reincarnated with the strongest system. Chapter 3, Finding a Patron God. Come one, come all. Step right up and don't be shy. I never believed in love at first sight, but that was before I saw you. I hope you know CPR, because you just took my breath away. If being sexy was a crime, you'd be guilty as charged. I was wondering if you were an artist because you were so good at drawing me in. William looked at the scene in front of him in a daze. After entering the gates of the temple, he found himself on what seemed to be a bazaar. Beautiful and handsome merchants wearing unique dresses were calling out to the people that had entered the temple with him. William's comrades were immediately drawn in by the flattery of these men and women. The boy was amazed because these merchants were able to say the cheesiest pick-up lines without breaking a sweat. Aside from William's group, there were other people who were wandering around the different stalls as if they were window shopping. William was amused because some of these merchants were even fighting with each other to draw these customers to check out the things that they had to offer. While he was still trying to understand what was happening around him, a chubby man wearing an elegant robe walked up to him with a smile. Good day, young friend, the chubby man greeted. Are you interested in becoming the strongest man in the world? William looked behind him. Seeing that no one was there, he looked back at the chubby man and pointed to himself. Are you talking to me? William inquired. Yes. The chubby man nodded in affirmation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Gavin and I am the god of all trades. If you are looking for the most amazing patron god in this temple, then that's me. Suddenly, an apple hit the back of Gavin's head which made him cry out loud in pain. You bastard, how dare you lie in front of the children? A beautiful woman wearing a tree hat filled with small apples roared in anger. How do you call yourself the most amazing patron god in this temple? Boy, forget that lame man. Come here and choose me as your patron god. The woman made a come over here gesture and William found his body floating towards her stall. He did his best to take control of his body. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't even move his fingers. In the end, he resigned himself to his fate and drifted towards the stall of the goddess. My name is Lulu and I am the apple goddess. Lulu patted William's shoulder with a grin. Have you ever heard of the famous saying about apples? An apple a day keeps the doctor away? William answered with uncertainty. You are only half right. Lulu grinned. Hey Lulu. I saw him first. Don't snatch my boy. Gavin charged towards Lulu's stall with a determined expression. The gods inside the temple were all competitors. Every time a batch of chosen ones appeared, all of them would do their best to make them their followers before they reincarnated into their next life. Go away. Lulu screamed, unbefitting of her beauty. She then took one of the little apples on her hat and threw it at Gavin. The little apple grew in size mid-flight until it became as big as a basketball. It hit Gavin squarely in his chest, which sent him flying 100 meters away from her stall. You see that, William? Lulu smirked. An apple a day keeps everyone away, if you throw it hard enough. Alright, William answered while slowly backing away from the apple goddess. Oh, don't be like that. Lulu went out of her stall and grabbed William's hand. Why don't we get to know each other first? You know, if you make me your patron god, you will receive a lot of benefits. What kind of benefits? For example, I can give you the power to grow apple trees anywhere. Whether it be a desert, a frozen tundra, underwater, or any place you want to grow an apple. Heck, you can even grow it in your body. That sounds environmentally friendly, William stuttered. I know, right? Lulu smirked. Now, just sign this contract and we're good to go. Lulu produced a contract and a pen out of thin air. She even personally handed the pen to William, shaking hands, and urged him to sign the contract. William wasn't willing to sign the contract, but the vice grip on his shoulders were preventing him from running away. Fortunately, Gavin returned and pried Lulu's arm away from William. Oi! Play by the rules. Gavin stood in between William and Lulu. You can't force anyone to sign a contract. Che. I was so close, you bastard, Lulu muttered under her breath. Gavin stood beside William and patted his shoulder. Don't worry, brother. As long as I'm around, no one can force you to sign a contract. Since you just arrived, allow me to be your tour guide. Gavin then gave Lulu the "you have a problem with that" look, which made the apple goddess glare at him. Lulu snorted and returned to her stall, but before doing so, she called out to William and told him that he could always come back to her if he didn't find a god that suited him. Gavin walked side by side with William as they toured the bazaar. He answered William's questions and even corrected some of the boys' misconceptions about gods. There are 3 types of gods, Gavin explained as they walked. The primordial gods, the personification gods, and the new generation gods. The primordial gods consist of the gods that were born when the multiverse was created. You might know them as the god of fire, god of water, earth, wind, lightning, etc. The personification gods are gods born out of emotions and professions. God of fear, god of lust, god of vanity, and god of pride are examples of gods born from emotions. The god of war, the god of blacksmith, god of hunters, god of music, god of art, are gods born out of professions. Gavin paused before continuing his explanation. As for the new generation gods, these are the gods who were just recently born and have very unique traits. Unique traits? William asked. We'll be seeing one of these new generation gods soon, Gavin replied. Do you see that long line of people over there? They are lining up to sign the contract of that new generation god. Seeing William's curiosity, Gavin gave a wry smile and took the boy to see the goddess that was manning the stall. A little girl who seemed no older than 12 years old was shaking hands with a teenage boy with a big smile on her face. Her pink hair, red eyes, and cute lips made her look extremely adorable. Big brother, I love you. The little goddess kissed the boy's cheek. Now, please sign your name over here. The boy happily signed the contract while the people standing in line were shouting slogans like "Flat is justice" and "Lolita no touch." William froze as he looked at the little girl and Gavin. He had a hunch on who the goddess was, but he was not 100% sure. As if reading his thoughts, Gavin nodded his head. This stall belongs to the lowly goddess, Lily. Lowly goddess? Yes. She is a new generation goddess that was born from the beliefs of people with unique taste. William, don't tell me you are one of these scum, I mean, people with unique tastes. Of course not. William denied with every fiber of his being. As if sensing that they were talking about her, Lily looked at William and Gavin. The cute lowly smiled and waved at William. I'm a simple man, William thought as he waved back. I see a cutie waving at me, I wave back. Gavin smirked and took out reading glasses from his storage dimension. Don't be deceived by what you see, Gavin whispered. Wear this. What is this? William asked. This is a divine artifact called the Glasses of Truth, Gavin explained. It can see through any disguise and illusions. William gave Gavin a skeptical look before wearing the glasses. He then looked at the cute girl waving at him and froze in shock. The cute lowly was nowhere to be seen. Instead, a midget with a wrinkled face and big nose was staring back at him. The midget smiled and William could see the 3 teeth that were sticking out of her gums. 1 tooth on the top and 2 on the bottom. The lowly granny winked and blew William a flying kiss. A pink heart with wings materialized out of thin air and flew towards the young boy. Out of reflex, William swatted the flying heart, sending it towards the floor. Determined to finish its mission, the pink heart dusted itself as it slowly stood up from the floor. It then attempted to flap its wings to fly. Unfortunately, William didn't give it a chance to make a comeback. He stepped on it and ground it to pieces. After making sure that the heart was utterly destroyed, he ran away as if the devil was right behind his back. Gavin chuckled as he followed the panicked boy who was running for his life. In his eyes, William was a very interesting person. If possible, he wanted him to become his follower, reincarnated with the strongest system. Chapter 4, William's Choice. After running away from the stall of the lowly goddess, William toured the other stalls of Temple of the Gods. After spending 3 days inside the temple, the boy finally decided on the patron god he would follow. Welcome. A beautiful girl with cat ears shook William's hand. You made the right decision in coming here. Our god is the best, I know. William blushed as he looked at the god who was standing in front of the stall. A handsome man, with a noble bearing, noticed William stare and nodded in the boy's direction. Gavin, the god of all trades, was standing by his side. William didn't choose him to become his patron god. Although he had an unresigned expression on his face, he still respected William's decision and decided to stay with him until he signed his contract. Many beautiful women were handing out contracts to the people who had lined up in front of their stall. According to William's estimate, there had to be at least over 500 men lining up to this particular stall. What's so special about this stall, you ask? Naturally, it was because of the god that managed this stall. He was none other than the harem god, and many men both young and old were more than happy to worship him and become his followers. I still don't get it, Gavin said. Are all of your brains located on your lower half? Everyone who was in the queue glared at Gavin in disdain. William, on the other hand, averted his gaze. He had died a virgin. It was one of the things that he had regretted in his past life. If possible, he would like to make up for this shortcoming. This was the main reason why he chose the harem god as his patron god. It might sound selfish and shameful, but to those who weren't able to live a life worth living, it was a temptation that was too hard to pass up. Gavin knew how William died. Every god inside the temple had that ability. He was very impressed with the boy because he was able to make that kind of sacrifice in order to save someone's life. Not many people could do that. Perhaps this was the reason why the gods gave William another chance to live a better life. An hour passed and it was finally William's turn to sign his contract. Brother, I am honored that you chose me as your patron god, the harem god said with a sincere smile on his face. He took a glimpse at William's past and saw the sacrifice that he had made for his little brothers and sisters in the orphanage. He also admired how resolute he was when he gave his heart to save his lover. This made the harem god look at William favorably. William, aside from the blessing that you will receive from me as your patron god, I will also give you a piece of my divinity. The harem god stated in a firm manner. From this moment onward, I hereby acknowledge you as my little brother, big bro. William threw his shame down the gutter and shamelessly hugged the harem god. Gavin clicked his tongue when he saw this scene, but there was nothing he could do. The only thing he could do was to watch as his most favored candidate was snatched away from him. All right, first things first. Let's sign the contract. Okay. The harem god waved his hand to summon a contract, but nothing happened. The harem god frowned. He waved his hand for the second time, but no contract appeared in his hand. Can you give me a minute? The harem god asked in an awkward manner. I'll just contact customer service and ask. What's going on? William nodded his head with a smile. He wasn't worried because these kinds of things happen all the time when he was still alive on Earth. Perhaps the machine that was printing the contract ran out of ink or something. At least, that was what William thought at that time. Hello? This is the harem god. I called because I ran out of contracts. Can you please send me more? The harem god explained the situation at hand. Is that so? The harem god frowned. Can't you do something about it? Just one more contract will do. I will not ask for more. Sorry sir, you have reached your maximum number of followers, the customer service representative replied. Even if you asked for one more contract, it cannot be done. The divine system will not allow anyone to violate this rule. Just give it up, sir. The harem god sighed as he ended the call. He looked at William with unwillingness. Such a good brother, and he wasn't able to give him the happiness he deserved. Gavin noticed the change in the harem god's expression and immediately thought of something. Could it be? Gavin thought. He didn't dare voice out his thoughts out loud in the case that he was mistaken. Even so, he was willing to grasp this thin strand of hope that had appeared in front of his eyes. Brother, I'm very sorry. The harem god bowed his head. I had reached the maximum number of followers. I cannot add more. Even if I wanted to. Gavin almost did a fist pump as he heard the harem god's explanation. I knew it. William was heartbroken by the news. It was like lining up to buy the limited edition game that he wanted to play so badly. Then, when it was his turn to purchase it, the staff would tell him that they had run out of stock. Don't worry, brother, the harem god patted William's shoulder. Even if you don't sign my contract, I will still give you my divinity, huh? Gavin looked at the harem god as if he was seeing a weird creature. Granting someone a divinity was different from signing a contract. A contract only gives you the regular blessing of a god. A divinity, on the other hand, would grant you special privileges that would be at least 10 times better than a regular contract. The two couldn't even compare by a long shot. Hey, are you sure you are going to give William a piece of your divinity? Gavin asked. It's not against the rules. The harem god was adamant. This is my brother. My sworn brother. I cannot do him wrong, you lucky son of a. Gavin patted William's shoulder. This is good news for you, William. William was unaware of how important the divinity of a god was. The only thing he had learned from the conversation was that he had somehow gained something better than a contract. The harem god gave William a chess piece. The boy looked at it and found it familiar. The king? William muttered. Is this your divinity, big brother? Yes. The harem god nodded his head. Place it inside your soul, little brother. That way, no one will be able to steal it from you. Also, from now on, feel free to call me Brother Issei. William obediently did as he was told and placed the king over his chest. The chess piece glowed and entered William's body. He felt that his soul became stronger, but he still couldn't understand what kind of ability he would gain from the divinity that was given to him. All right, since I reached my quota, I'll follow you until you choose your patron god. The harem god patted his chest with confidence. Don't worry. As long as I'm around, no one would dare to scam you and force you to become their follower. Thank you, Brother Issei. No need to thank me. This is the least that I can do for you, William. William had just finished nodding his head when he heard a familiar voice shouting behind him. There you are, big brother. The lowly goddess, Lily, jumped to his embrace like a cannonball. Everything happened so quickly that William didn't have enough time to dodge the lowly's attack. Lily held William's body in a vice grip as she pressed her little head on his chest. "Big brother, I really like you," the lowly goddess said. "Why don't you become my follower? I am willing to give you many benefits. All you need to do is, give me a kiss. I. F***ck. William screamed internally. "I'd rather kiss a frog than kiss you." His body spasmed uncontrollably as every fiber of his being tried to break free from the lowly granny's hold. The little lowly was unaware that William had already seen through her disguise. Lily continued to do her best to act cute and seduce William to become her follower. Gavin smirked as he watched this scene unfold. Another chance had presented itself in front of him, and he would be stupid if he didn't use this to his advantage. Reincarnated with the strongest system. Chapter 5, Signing of Contract. "Big brother, please become my follower," Lily said with upturned eyes. William was sure that if he hadn't managed to see the lowly goddess' true form, then he might have readily agreed to her pleading. Sorry, but I'm not interested." William looked around in desperation. He looked at his brother Issei for help, but the latter only nodded his head with a smile. "The lowly goddess is also a good choice, brother," Issei commented. "A few of my lovers are lawless. Not only are they cute and adorable, they are also very loyal as well." Lily gave William a big grin. "Big brother, come, choose me as your patron god. I promise that you won't regret it. Remember, jail is just another room. Out of sight, out of mind." Seeing that his sworn brother was in cahoots with the lowly granny, William's gaze shifted to the one god that had never left his side since the day he stepped inside the temple. Gavin. "Please, help me." William pleaded. "Why should I help you? Lily is a good goddess." Gavin smirked. "The two of you are a match made in heaven, right?" "The two of us are a match made in heaven." Lily happily nodded her head in agreement. William could feel that his body was slowly turning numb. Maybe it was due to his body's reaction to the lowly goddess, or perhaps it was due to the divine essence that was being released by Lily at close proximity. Out of desperation, William used a trump card that would ensure his safety. "Gavin, if you help me, then I promise to become your follower." William roared. Lily was taken aback by William's decision. This was the first time this happened to her. The majority of the people that had entered the temple would always agree to sign a contract with her the moment she acted cute and clingy. It never crossed her mind that because of her actions, she forced William into a dead end. "You heard him, Lily." Gavin stepped forward and pried the little lowly away from William's stiff body. "Che." Lily pouted. After being freed from the lowly granny's hold, William was finally able to relax. He took a few deep breaths to compose himself before looking at Gavin with grateful eyes. "Give me the contract," William said. "I will sign it." Gavin didn't do anything and simply looked at William with a serious expression. He really wanted to give the boy his contract. But he didn't want to force him either. The god of all trades knew that he played dirty in order to get William's promise, and he felt very guilty. "What's the rush?" Gavin cleared his throat. "It would be best if we talk about this while having good food." "Sounds like a great idea." Issei nodded his head in agreement. He felt that something was amiss, but he decided to just follow the flow for now. "I'm coming, too." Lily didn't want to be left out, so she decided to follow them. Gavin took William and the two tag-along gods to the most popular restaurant inside the temple. This restaurant was personally managed by the god of cooking. William's tongue almost melted when he took his first bite. Delicious. William was in awe and devoured the food on his plate with gusto. Although he was already dead, the food made him recall the time when he went to sleep while feeling hungry. The orphanage didn't have many funds and the food was limited. He would often share his meal with his little brother and sisters so that they wouldn't feel too hungry. The three gods caught a glimpse of his sad memory and ordered more foods to be brought to their table. They looked at the boy with pitiful eyes and decided to let him eat a lifetime worth of delicious food. After the meal ended, William patted his swollen belly in contentment. "That was the best," William said as he closed his eyes in satisfaction. "Do you want more?" Gavin asked. "We could always order more. Thank you, but I'm already full." "All right." If you say so. William glanced around the restaurant. Most of the customers were gods. He deemed that most of the chosen ones had LDHTHIPTGDDTDTHILFIT already chosen their patron gods and entered their cycle of reincarnation. Gavin, can you please tell me the duties of a follower? William scratched his cheek sheepishly. I don't really get this stuff. Is there something that I must do in exchange for your blessing? Before that, let me tell you more about me. Gavin decided to come clean. He wanted William to choose him by his own free will and not because he was forced to do it. After my explanation, you can decide whether you want to choose me to become your patron god or not. William was surprised by Gavin's demeanor. In the end, he decided to nod his head and listen to the god's explanation. Seeing that William was giving him his full attention, Gavin started his explanation. As you may already know, my slogan is Jack of all trades, master of none. Just like your good brother, Issei, the moment you sign my contract, then you will receive my blessing. My blessing works like this: you will have a 20% increase in the experience that you will gain when you increase the level of your job class. Job class? Just like in games? William asked. He had played RPGs before and he was quite familiar with the leveling concept. The boy had also read plenty of novels in regards to cultivation and virtual games, so it was easy for him to understand Gavin's explanation. Yes. That is the first benefit of becoming my follower. Gavin nodded his head in confirmation. The second benefit is that you will get an extra skill point whenever your job class levels up. Isn't that amazing? It is indeed amazing. However, I have one question, and that is, will your blessing apply to the world I am going to live in? I doubt that your blessing will be useful if I was reincarnated on Earth. After all, there are no monsters on Earth. You can't gain experience from killing monsters. Who said you only gain experience when killing monsters? Gavin asked back with a knowing smile. You don't have to kill monsters? William asked back. You don't need to kill monsters in order to gain experience to upgrade your job class. Remember this, William, every world has its laws. I believe you Earthlings have a saying when in Rome, do what Romans do. The same can be said to other worlds. When you live in that world, you do the things that people do in that world, understand? Yes, good. Gavin continued his explanation. The third benefit is this. Once you unlock 10 jobs, you will be able to merge them all together. For example, you can be a knight, a priest, a sorcerer, a druid, a dragon warrior, etc., etc. That sounds too good to be true. What is the catch? William was not naive. If everyone could have this overpowered ability, then Gavin wouldn't be this desperate to make him his follower. Gavin gave a wry smile as he decided to be honest with William. The thing is, most people can only have 1 to 3 professions in their lifetime. Achieving 10 professions or more is only possible for long-lived creatures like the elves. So basically, if I'm not born an elf, then I'm FKEED? Not exactly. Only the ability to merge the job classes into one will remain unreachable for you. The rest of the benefits remain. Oh, that's good news then. William felt relieved because the blessings that Gavin mentioned were not a bad deal. All right. Where do I sign? Are you sure that you really wanted to become my follower? There are better gods out there, you know, Gavin replied. It's fine. I trust you. William looked at Gavin seriously. I believe that you are telling me the truth. Gavin felt the stone in his heart drop. He waved his hand and a contract appeared out of thin air. He then handed it to William, along with a pen. The god of all trades did his best to prevent his hands from shaking. In truth, aside from William, he only had one last follower. A god with no followers would cease to exist. This was why he was quite desperate to recruit William under his wing. In the end, his honesty towards the boy made the latter choose him as his patron god. After signing the contract, William felt a strong connection between him and Gavin. It was a very warm feeling and it made him feel safe.